Hey, how's it going, guys? Back for another episode of The Final Whistle, and we're going to continue the series of Road to the Euro 2020 by talking about Croatia and their chances of winning the Euros, their team, their 26-man roster that has been submitted in the past couple days. And we're going to jump right into it and talk about their goalkeepers, Lovre Kalinic, Dominik Livakovic, and Simon Sluga. I honestly cannot say I know all these players by heart. I'll try my best with the names, but I don't know all these players by heart. I'll probably talk about the guys who I really know and what I think about the lineup. First off, I'm going to say I think Livakovic is going to be in net. He's playing in Dinamo Zagreb for obviously the top club in the nation. Fantastic player. Came up against Spurs. They won that. He's obviously an experienced goalkeeper. And I think he's going to take the reins. Kalinic used to play for Aston Villa. I don't think he's going to be up to starting, and I think Livakovic is going to be the number one goalkeeper going into the Euro 2020 for Croatia. Croatia is also bringing on 9 defenders with them into the tournament. Those defenders will be Vida, the Viking, as most people know him, Lovren, Vršalko, Barisic, Duje Kaleta Kar, Juranovic, Brad Darich, Skorkic, and I can't say the last one, I'm sorry guys, but I'm just trying my best with these Croatian names. And I think if I'm going to really get with my starting lineup, Vida and Lovren, or more than likely Vida and Kaleta Kar for me. A bit of youth, and Vida is obviously unbelievably experienced. He went to the last final for the World Cup with Croatia. And he's obviously a great defender that you want. He's going to put his head on whatever he wants. And you also have Lovren, who's there too on the bench, who you can call up, who's playing for Zenit St. Petersburg, ex-Liverpool defender. Lovren took them to the World Cup final. Obviously one of the best defenders ever in the world at that year when he went to the Champions League final. And he said it himself. I don't believe it, but I got Vida and Kaleta Kar, and I would go with Vršalko and Brad Darich left and right back. I'm not saying this is going to be the lineup. I'd say this is probably my predicted lineup. I think Vršalko is a fantastic right back. He gives you the versatility. He's very good going forward when he needs to be, and he's good defensively at times. Atletico are obviously a defensive side, and he's played very well under the Diego Simeone side when he's needed to, with Kieran Trippier on that right-hand side. Brad Darich for Los Lille. Obviously, I've talked about Los Lille lots of times on the channel, but Brad Darich is fantastic left back, fantastic full back. He's not old at all. He's a youthful player. He's fantastic going forward and can do his job very well. I think he's going to do a great job with this Croatian team, and they have a good future here, and I hope he can stay with Los Lille. And like I've talked about, winning mentality is huge going into tournaments like this, and I think he's bringing a lot of it coming in with Los Lille, and hopefully they can wrap up League 1 and keep that positivity and confidence and winning mentality going for Brad Darich going into Euro 2020. I'd have Vida, Kaleta Kar, Vršalko, and Brad Darich as my back line. For midfield, it's going to be obviously a 4-2-3-1 for Croatia. 2 defensive midfielders, your attacking midfielder, your left and right mids, and then your striker. But they've brought some unbelievably talented midfielders here. Luka Modric, Mateo Kovacic, Marcelo Brozovic, Milan Badel, Mario Pasalic, Nikola Vlasic, and I can't say the last one, who's from Dinamo Zagreb. But there's so many fantastic names to pick from here. I think it's going to be Luka Modric and either Brozovic or Mateo Kovacic sitting. I don't think you can leave Kovacic out here. I think he's got a fantastic engine on him, and he can play a pass if he needs to. And he can also attack. He's a great box-to-box midfielder. We've seen it at Chelsea. He's had a great year. He played really good under Frank, and Thomas Tuchel gave everyone a clean slate, my bad. And he really proved himself, and we saw Mateo Kovacic blend into the midfield with Jorginho. And I think he'll fit perfectly alongside Luka Modric, who has a lot of experience, a lot of winning mentality. Brozovic and Padel are beautifully defensive midfielders who can come on, win you the game, seal out a game, or even play out with a bigger team like England, who is also in the group. Pasalic will probably play on the right-hand side for the team, which is easily a shoo-in because the manager obviously loves to play Mario Pasalic on the right. But they got a great midfield, and I see Luka Modric and Mateo Kovacic sitting as your defensive midfielders, or you can have Marcelo Brozovic sitting in the defensive midfield, depending on who you're playing. And obviously, Badel is also a great guy to have. Going into the forwards, you got Ivan Perisic, Andrej Kramaric, Ante Rebic, Josip Brekalo, Bruno Petkovic, Mislav Orzic, sorry guys, and Ante Budimir. So I should have had that. Orzic is really an easy name to say. For me, I think your right-hand side is already solved with Pasalic. I think he's a fantastic player. Coming from Atalanta, very young, talented kid, ex-Chelsea academy player. But you also got the left-hand side, your attacking midfield, and your striker to think about here. So many options. Kramaric is an unbelievable forward. He's obviously aging. Petkovic is a great striker for Dinamo Zagreb. I would probably go with Mislav Orisic on the left. Personally, this is how I'd go. I'd go with Orisic on the left. I'd go with Ivan Perisic down the middle as your attacking midfielder, because he obviously doesn't have the pace of Orisic. And then I'd play Ante Rebic up top. Rebic can break with his pace, his speed, unbelievably great at finishing. As we've seen this year with AC Milan, he's had a fantastic year. Have Ivan Perisic off the down the middle. Sorry, my bad. Great creativity, great at playing the ball through the line, great at linking up with Luka Modric and Mateo Kovacic or Brozovic, who's his teammate. And you got a lot of top quality players here going forward for Croatia, which is huge because I think they need to finish their chances in front of net. And like I say, you play Orisic out wide. You could say top players. Orisic, one of those guys. I think he needs to be at a top league, one of the top 5 leagues in Europe, because he is quality. We saw it against Tottenham with that unbelievable hat-trick he had, and I think he could pull off something special in the Euros too. And I think he's why he should be playing on the left instead of Perisic, because he's just got that pace, that little bit of game-changing mentality. And Perisic obviously doesn't have that speed, so he can play the ball through the lines and create a bit more than the likes of Nikola Vlasic, for example. I think Vlasic could easily start in the middle. As we've seen, he's a favorite in the manager's opinion. But I think Perisic needs to be a shoe-in down the middle with Orisic on the left and Rebic up top. I want to move on and talk about the group for Croatia quickly. I think they have a very interesting group here. Obviously, Croatia are entering the Euros and the group as number 1 coming into this. They have drawn Czech Republic, England, and Scotland. I think it is, I wouldn't say it's a shoe-in because Croatia really haven't been a fantastic side going into Euros past couple of years. Past couple of years, they've been very interesting, having their interesting runs in the Euros. I wouldn't say they've been great, dropping out quite often. Like in the 2012 World Cup, they fell out in the group stage, and in 2016, they lost in the second round. So it's obviously not a great track record. Obviously, in the World Cup, they did very well, making to the finals, losing against France. Losing against France, no hard done. It was a fantastic performance by them, and it's best they could have done. But going into the group stage, I think you have to make it out of Group D here. It's definitely not the group of death. I talked about that last episode with France, Czech Republic, England, and Scotland. I think England's going to run this group. They're going to top it with 9 points. I'll talk about it in a later video. But then you also go Czech Republic and Scotland. Scotland, I think, could easily upset you. They could be an underdog here. And Czech Republic are also around there. I don't think Scotland or Czech Republic's going to really trouble Croatia. I think Croatia has a brilliant lineup, a lot of winning mentality, some confidence. A lot of guys winning their respective leagues. Inter Milan, for example, Dinamo Zagreb. Guys like that. And Chelsea winning maybe the Champions League, which would be huge for Kovacic going into the Euros. But I see Croatia probably winning 2, maybe skipping off a draw against England. And I think it could come down to goal differential with 2 teams being on 7 points. Or Croatia takes a loss, England, they land on 6 and come second. Either way, they're getting out of the group, in my opinion. I think they'll walk it against Scotland and Czech Republic. I think it'll be very fun to watch this group. I think you should keep an eye on this group because it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, a very young man. I wouldn't say he's a very young manager, but he's in the middle age, 54 years old. He's not too old, not too young. He's loved by the players. He obviously has his favorites at times, but he's a very good manager, great man management. And I think the star player going into this tournament is obviously Luka Modric. Guy I'm going to say you should look out for. I'm going to start this in each Euro video now for previews. Player I want you to look out for this tournament will be, this is a tough one. I'm going to say Ante Rebic. I think Croatia's going to have more opportunities than you will think. And I think once they get to the second round, we're going to get our number 1 seeded team. And I think if they're going to move on, it's going to be down to Ante Rebic or Orisic. I'll say Ante Rebic is my player to watch, but Orisic is close second. Give those 2 guys a chance, and I think they're going to upset many back lines in this tournament if they have the chance. If they get those long balls into them, if Perisic is playing an attacking midfielder, feeding the ball through to him, Modric hits those nice long balls over top. I think Rebic is going to burn people for pace, and his finishing is beautiful, and I think you're going to see a well-oiled Croatian side behind him, feeding him nice balls to get him scoring and maybe get the golden boot, depending on how well Croatia can do in the Euros, which I think Croatia will get past the second round. I'll call them out losing in the quarterfinals, depending on who their opponent is in the second round. Maybe losing after they get out of the group stage, or advancing depending on who the team is they face. Thanks, guys. It was a great video. Can't wait to see you next for my next review. Let me know who you might want to see next. See ya.